Hello everyone, my name is Dan Kopp. I've been making songs in the AI Sponge Discord, and this tutorial will cover the process that I go through from start to finish of how I make my tracks. This is a reiteration of my previous tutorial with more modern methods that are higher quality and just generally a better process overall. So let's begin. The very first thing you're going to want to do is you'll need to find a song that you'll like. This list is everything you need to go through to make the best track possible. But the very first thing you need to do is find a song that you yourself are going to enjoy. Now, the recommended method that I would use to download your track is this website, spottydownloader.com. What this will let you do is this will let you use URLs from Spotify to download your track. This you can do in maximum quality. That's going to be your best method. Your alternative is using a YouTube downloader, so you can download an extension called YTDLP, but this is the method that I recommend you use. The next thing that you'll need to do is, once you've downloaded your track, you'll need to split your vocals from the instrumental. There are a few methods you can use. You can use a local version. This is for those with an NVIDIA GPU that is powerful enough. You can use this tool called Ultimate Vocal Remover. All you'll need to do is you'll need to select your audio that you have downloaded and select an output to split your vocals. Now, I'm going to open up Fruity Loops, well, FL Studio, as it's actually known. And this is one of the tracks that I've did. This is Poppy All Around Us. Now, if I just remove all of this and I do only instrumental, let me just bring the volume down. That's the instrumental, and then alternatively the vocals. So that's what it would sound like once you've split the two of them together. Depending on the track, you'll get better quality. Now, if you play them together, it will be at max quality. Of course, here I've got my own edits already active. That's because of post-processing. If I remove this and just play it, then it should be fun. But as you can see, that's what a split of the instrumental from the vocals would look like. You need to do this if you want to have the highest quality vocals. Now, once you split your vocals, you may need to do other things. Now, this is where other sources may be better. My recommendation is lala.ai. This is the most comprehensive version that you can get. What you're able to do here is you're able to do multiple things. You're able to do lead vocal splits. You're able to de-reverb your songs. So here you got, for example, stem splitter, voice cleaner, voice changer. You've got all of these options. Now, you do need to pay depending on your account. You are able to do this free sometimes, but you will need to pay here and there. So the prices do vary. This is a one-time fee thing, so this is very cheap in the grand scheme of things. But if you don't want to pay, or you want to pay very little, you can go for the lowest options, or you can do it once for free on a different browser. That's if you want to further split your vocals or de-reverb. Now, with this track of They're All Around Us, I didn't need to do that. I just needed to split them. Now, here comes the important part, is actually doing the AI cover itself. Now, depending on how you want to actually do your AI cover, you may find it easier to do this locally again if you're an NVIDIA user. You will need this tool called RVC. Now, let me launch it up here. But you can also do this online if you like. The results may not be as great. RVC GUI is my go-to. You are able to download voices from a server called AI Hub. On this server, you can download from Hugging Face. Alternatively, you can find the models online. But the point is, in here, you would input your audio file, you would select your model, and then you would use two methods for your audio. You would use harvest or crep. Harvest is the go-to for metal. Okay, if you want screaming vocals, this is the one. Crep at 64 hops with a high retrieval rate is your go-to if you want those really crisp melodies. Now, you may need to mess around with the two of them, and the reason why I say you need to mess around with the two of them is if we listen to Sandy's vocals. Now, you'll see I have 2 tracks for Sandy's vocals. If I don't forget to actually enable them. There's a reason why I have 2. The top one is Harvest, and you can hear it in the vocals. Now, if I had this for Crep, it doesn't quite work. Of course, the timings are a little bit different here, but that's besides the point. Now, the only other thing you need to be wary of is that once you've done these, you will find that the audio quality is going to be a bit lackluster potentially. So once you've done your vocals in here and downloaded them using the convert tool, they will appear in your file explorer. You will then need to put it into a project. Now, the projects you can use here are Audacity or any other kind of digital audio workstation or DAW. My go-to now is FL Studio just because of the number of effects you're able to apply and the fact that it's a more modern software. Now, if we again go to Sandy's voice here and listen to it from the start, it's very loud, it's very brutal, etc. But what happens if I actually disable all of these effects? As you can see, it's very important to be able to apply effects to your vocals depending on the song. And in this instance, that is what's needed here. So for your highest quality AI covers, you do need to apply effects. Now, for example, in this case, I've got multiple effects. I've got a compressor. I've got chorusing. Chorusing basically makes it so that the audio appears wider than it actually is. I've got reverb. I've got EQ on it. I've got a stereo enhancer, which is the same as a chorus to some extent, but it adds on a little bit more. And specifically, I also have distortion, which is important for metal songs. This is where the main difference in audio comes from. You'll hear it. As you can see, that's how it works. And this is the kind of editing that you will need to do in your tracks. You also need to make sure that you cut out segments that might be a bit unclean. It depends sometimes on the track, but sometimes there are segments of a track that will sound very, very distorted, if I can find an example. So if I go here, that section right there, for example, I had that cut out. So that's not actually present. Only the reverb is, but the actual tail end is cut off early so that it doesn't bleed into the track itself. These are the kind of edits you need to make to your track if you want it at the maximum quality possible. Now, if you want to produce a very simple track, you don't have to go through all of this. You can just go into Audacity and do a very simple project. But if I open up the example that I had in Audacity, I had 2 versions for this. I had one in Audacity and one here. Now, if I play the one in Audacity from the very beginning, you can see the audio quality is immensely different, and not only that, but it's just the fact that Audacity just doesn't support as many effects. It doesn't have as fine of adjusting. Overall, you're just better off trying to get FL Studio by legitimate means. I do not condone piracy, just to let you know. But it is recommended you would use FL Studio instead. You just have a greater amount of control. Now, once you're done with this, you'll want to export it, ideally at maximum quality as a WAV. Let me close this project down. Now that will be the finalizing track portion. You would have done your AI cover now, that's finished. Now, at this point, this is where you'll want to make a video to upload to YouTube, and that's where you'll have an MP4. Once you've done your video, that's where you'll start to begin with subtitling. So, for example, this is the track that I have for my subtitles for They're All Around Us. And if I get my testing tool as well, then we can begin. So you'll need three things. You'll need the testing tool, you'll need my Unify subtitle converter, and you'll need your Aegisub subtitle thingy. I don't actually know what the real name of it is. Just Aegisub. What you'll need to do is you'll need to first load in your video. In here, you'll want to do open video and then select the video you've made. That will load up a thumbnail or the video itself and also a spectral graph. The spectral graph is what it will do by default. That's this thing. You can disable it just through the audio waveform. I prefer the audio waveform. It's easier to time things based on the vocal spikes. Now, the way the subtitle converter works is you have these sections here. The first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to just simply drag and drop your AS file. So you can literally just drag it and then drop it in and it will take it. Okay? Simple as that. You don't need to actually browse. You can just grab and drop it from your file explorer. Did not mean to do that. Once you've done that, you'll need to do several things. Firstly, if you're testing, you need to select all of these options. There is no exception. You have to do all of these. The only technical exception is if your text is already fully formatted in rich. Then you can disable convert to rich text and just do these two sections. But ideally, you just do this all in your Aegisub program. You select all of these. Once you've clicked Start Conversion, you'll be presented with a VTT file. Drag the VTT file in with the WAV that you have from your project, and then click on Start. That was very loud. And as you can see, it loads in. That's the way the subtitle converter, Aegisub, and the testing tool work together. Now, how to actually use Aegisub, you only need to know a few things. Number one, you have your lines. They have a start and end time. You can amend the start time here, you can amend the end time here. Right click on your line, you can insert after. That creates a brand new line, you can edit it. In the actual audio graph here, you're also able to extend the time, so you're able to drag it. This lets you fine adjust if you need to, from one section to another, so you don't have to guess by number. Next thing is you can actually type into the fields themselves in this text box. You will have one that says show original here. You can untick this, you don't need that. In here, all you have to do is you type in your text. Let's make a new one. Type in your text, as. Click to the left, click on the color button right here, and you can change the color of the text. Now, right now, it's not going to show it because of the fact that the timing isn't set up properly. But if I adjust the timing, as you can see, there's the text. Now, it is currently interfering with existing text, but that's besides the point. This is how it works. There are other things you can use as well. You can use bold, you can use italic, you can use underline, you can use strike-throughs, you can change the font. I like Beach Day, personally, or Bloody. Both are pretty good. You can do all of this. You can change the font size as well whilst you're in here to 72. You can change it to 252 if you're that kind of person. And then alternatively, if you don't want to use any of these, you can just use the rich text tags themselves. For example, just type it in as you'd like to. For example, alpha values, you can do alpha hashtag FF. This won't show up in Aegisub. This will only show up in the project. You can see the V offset tags I have in here. They only show up in here. They don't show up in Aegis. This is how you would go over the subtitles in Aegisub. Now, once you've finalized all of your subtitles, you've done your effects, you've tested it via the VTT file and thrown it in here, the last thing that you're going to need to do is you'll need to do your final conversion, but click on Keep YTT File. You click on Start Conversion, and that will give you this file right here. YTT is a complete mess to us, but it's not a mess to YouTube. This is what you'll need for uploading to YouTube with subtitles. That way you won't need to use the VTT submissions channel. That pretty much concludes this tutorial. The only last thing that I would recommend is that if you have issues with your file, I recommend that you click on Keep XML file and Keep Rich Text file. You can forward this on to me and I will check for any issues. I would never leak or show anyone else your files that you send to me, as this project is a passion of mine. So I would like to make sure that everyone is able to do subtitles and AI covers to the best of their ability possible. With all that done and said, once you've uploaded to YouTube, you can then do your song topic submission in the Topic Songs channel, and you'll be able to enjoy your subtitled songs along with others. Alternatively, if you don't want to do subtitles and just the songs, that's fine, but hopefully this tutorial gives you a better understanding of how to actually make subtitles to the highest quality possible. My name is Dankop, and thank you for watching.